The year is 1402, and the Anatolian plateau trembles under the weight of two empires. Bayezid the Thunderbolt, Sultan of the Ottomans, commands an army of over 50,000. Across the field, the Turco-Mongol conqueror Timur waits with equal force. Neither man knows this day will reshape the world. Bayezid rides at the head of his host, confident in the might that built his empire in just a century. His cannons roar, his cavalry charges with thunderous force. He has conquered the Balkans, taken Constantinople's lands, and crushed all who dared oppose him. Today, he believes, is no different. Timur, the Iron Limper, watches from his towering mount. His empire stretches from Delhi to the Volga, forged by fire and cunning. He knows war like few others. While Bayezid sees glory, Timur sees weakness. The Ottoman army is vast, but scattered, overconfident, unprepared for what comes next. The battle erupts in fury. Ottoman horsemen surge forward, expecting to break Timur's lines as they have so many before. But Timur's warriors hold firm. His archers unleash a storm of arrows, his war machines tear through armor and steel. The Ottomans stagger, their momentum checked. Timur deploys his Kashik Guard, veterans of 100 campaigns. They move like shadows through the chaos, striking at the heart of Ottoman power. Their blades find gaps in armor, their discipline unmatched. Bayezid's men begin to waver. For the first time, doubt creeps into their ranks. The Sultan fights like a lion, his blade a whirlwind of death. He cuts through enemy ranks, rallying his troops with sheer force of will. But for every man he strikes down, two more rise to take his place. Timur's strategy is working. The Ottomans are being pulled apart, piece by piece. From high ground, Timur watches his plan unfold. His feigned retreats have drawn Bayezid's forces into a trap. Now, his wings close like a vice. Ottoman soldiers flee, their formations collapse. The empire that conquered nations begins to crumble beneath the weight of its own arrogance. Bayezid stands alone, his horse slain beneath him. He swings his sword with desperate fury, but the tide has turned. Timur's men close in, their eyes fixed on the golden-armored Sultan. His empire's fate now rests on the edge of a blade, and the conqueror's trap has finally snapped shut. The mighty Sultan is dragged from the field, his golden helmet torn away, his crown seized by a common soldier. He who once ruled the Balkans and Anatolia kneels in the dirt, his empire's century of conquest ending not in triumph, but in humiliation. Timur watches in silence. As the sun sets on the plain of Ankara, over 50,000 lie dead or dying. The Ottoman army is shattered, its sultan captured, its future uncertain. An empire built in 100 years has collapsed in a single afternoon. The world will never be the same. But the story is far from over. Bayezid is taken through the ruins of his own camp, past the burning tents and the scattered remnants of his army. His capture spreads like wildfire through the ranks, and with it, the death of their dreams of empire. No ransom will save him now, only the judgment of the conqueror. Timur claims the field not with celebration, but with silence. He has broken the unbroken line of Ottoman victory, and in doing so, rewritten the fate of nations. His generals speak of plunder, but he speaks only of chains, and the Sultan who will wear them. No words pass between them. Bayezid's defiance is quiet, carved into the set of his jaw. Timur sees not a rival, but a lesson. One empire ends so another may rise, and in this moment, the world tilts toward a new dawn. Ibrahim knows what has happened before the messenger arrives. His father is lost, his brothers scattered to the winds. The line of Osman, fought unshakable, now trembles. He must choose, flee and live, or rally what remains and risk everything. Timur does not linger in victory. The map before him is not of conquest, but of transformation. Every city, every fortress, will bend or burn. The Ottomans will not rise again, not under the rule of Osman's line. He will see to that. The cage is not built to hold a man, but a symbol. Bayezid watches the stars through rusted bars, his empire crumbling beyond the horizon. Once, men bowed to his name. Now, even his captors forget it. The messenger speaks in hushed tones, but his words carry like thunder. The Sultan is taken, the army destroyed. The people flee the streets, and in their silence, the truth settles like ash. The age of Ottoman might may be over. Ibrahim does not ask for victory, only purpose. He is no sultan yet, only a son with a blade and a name. But names can be enough, if the will behind them is strong. He rises, and with him, the last ember of Ottoman hope. The march begins not with war cries, but with the creak of wagons and the trample of hooves. Every step is a message to those who would resist. No throne is safe, no crown unbreakable. The world will know the wrath of Timur. His prayer is not for freedom, but for forgiveness. He thinks of his sons, his people, the empire he could not protect. In the end, even the mightiest fall. But perhaps, in the falling, they clear the way for something new to rise. The sun beats down mercilessly as the horde advances, their shadows stretching long across the barren earth. Each soldier carries the weight of empire, each commander the burden of destiny. Timur rides at the head, silent, his eyes fixed on the horizon where enemies await. There will be no rest, no mercy. Only the thunder of hooves and the promise of blood. His face is carved by time and war, every line a testament to battles won and lost. He does not speak, for words are wasted on the wind. The men know their purpose. They have followed him through fire and ruin, and they will follow him still, even to the edge of the world. His silence is louder than any command. From the heights, they watch the storm approach. Dust clouds rise like ghosts, and beneath them, the thunder of an empire in motion. Their hands tremble on their spears, not from cold, but from the knowledge of what is coming. They have heard the tales, seen the ruins. No fortress has held. No army has stood. He stands before them, young and untested, yet expected to hold the line. His voice cracks as he speaks of honor, of duty, of the Sultan's will. They see through him, these seasoned warriors, but they nod all the same. They know there is no retreat. Only resistance, however brief, however futile. The city lies in ruin, its towers cracked, its gates shattered. Smoke curls from the ashes like a warning. This is what defiance earns. This is the price of pride. And still, others refuse to learn. Still, they prepare to fight. The lesson has been written in blood, yet they choose to read it wrong. He moves among them not as a god, but as a father. His touch on a shoulder steadies a nervous hand. His glance grants courage where it falters. They do not cheer, for this is not a moment for sound. It is a moment for strength, for unity. He does not lead with fire. He leads with certainty. His grip tightens, not from fear, but from the weight of what must come. He is no longer a boy with a blade. He is a man with a name, a legacy, and a choice. Victory may not come, but purpose will. He breathes deeply, steadying himself. The moment is here. The march ends, and the reckoning begins. The rider's horse strains with every leap, its hooves pounding the cracked earth. He carries word from the front, word that will shape what comes next. Timur turns as the man approaches, no surprise in his eyes. He has long expected this. The game is nearly at its end. One move remains. The scroll trembles in his grip, not from his hand, but from the wind. The words are few, the meaning clear. The enemy has made their choice. They will not yield. They will not flee. They will stand, and for that, they will fall. He folds the parchment slowly, his eyes distant. Justice comes not in mercy, but in certainty. The night is quiet save for the crackle of fire and the breath of sleeping men. He stands apart, not in solitude, but in focus. Tomorrow, the earth will shake. Tomorrow, names will be erased. But tonight, there is only thought. Only the weight of what must be done. He does not fear it. He accepts it. He rides not for glory but for clarity. Each stride of his mount carries him further from the man he was and closer to the leader he must become. The weight of decision settles heavier than armor. The wind carries whispers of what lies ahead. He does not fear it. He welcomes it. The plan is sound but not safe. Victory demands sacrifice, and he knows each name etched on that parchment. They trust him to weigh their lives against the greater good. He folds the map with steady hands. The time for doubt has passed. He thinks of his village, of the promise he made to return. But promises are fragile things when measured against duty. The boy beside him offers no words, only a nod. Sometimes silence speaks louder than oaths. They have chosen their ground well. High ground, defensible, but narrow. A trap for the unwary. Timur studies their formation with the eye of one who has walked both sides of war. He sees their strength and their flaw. The report is brief but changes everything. Reinforcements will not come. The flank is exposed. A lesser man might curse fate. Timur simply nods. He has built his strategy on uncertainty. Now he must rebuild it in fire. He speaks not of honor or vengeance but of choice. Each man here has chosen to stand. No chain binds them. No crown compels them. They fight for what they name, for what they love. His words are few, but they burn bright in the hearts of listeners. This is how wars begin. Not with thunder, but with the sharp ring of blade on blade. Not with shouting, but with the intake of breath before the storm. The earth holds its breath, waiting for what comes next. Opportunity wears many faces. Sometimes it is bold and blazing. Sometimes it is quiet, hiding in plain sight. He sees it now, flickering like flame in the wind. To seize it means risking all. To ignore it means losing more. They carry more than weapons. They carry the prayers of those who stay behind. The hopes of those who will never see battle. Each man holds both burden and blessing as they march toward destiny. This is the hour he was born for. Not the crown, not the title, but this moment when all things balance on the edge of a blade. He gives the signal with a sweep of his arm. The ground trembles as the charge begins. Victory is not in the banners raised or the songs sung afterward. It lives in the breath before the final strike, in the silence between heartbeats when fate tilts. He watches his army surge forward, a tide of steel and spirit, and knows this is the end of one chapter and the beginning of another. The weight of what has been lost and what must now be built settles on his shoulders like a mantle he cannot remove. But it is his to carry, and he will bear it with the strength that was forged in fire. Not every story ends with triumph. Some end in whispered names carved into stone, in letters never sent, in hands that reach out only to grasp air. The boy closes his eyes and bows his head, letting the grief wash over him like rain. He carries the memory now, and that is enough. It has to be. There is no other choice. The war is over, but the war within him has just begun. He stands, wipes his face, and walks toward the horizon where others wait to rebuild. Peace is not won with swords but with words, with patience, with the slow grinding of minds against old hatreds. They gather to shape a new world from the ashes of the old, each voice a thread in the tapestry of tomorrow. He speaks not of conquest but of unity, not of vengeance but of hope. Some listen. Some resist. But all must choose. The ink flows, the seals are broken, and history turns its page. The future waits, silent and uncertain. She never asked for glory or honor. She asked only to see his face one more time, to hear his laugh, to know he was safe. The toy in her hands was meant for children who would never be born. She closes her fingers around it and whispers a prayer into the wind. Somewhere, in the space between memory and dream, she feels his presence. It is not enough. But it must be. The sun sets, and she remains, a statue of love that will not fade. The road ahead is long and uncertain, paved with questions that have no answers and choices that will shape more than his own destiny. He walks not because he must but because he chooses to. Behind him lie the ghosts of battles fought and friends lost. Ahead, the promise of something new. The night is vast, but he carries light within him. It is enough to take the next step. And the next. The journey continues, as all journeys must, into the unknown.